congratulations on the film, you guys. One of my favorite films of the year.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And so take us from the very beginning. What got you guys interested in joining the cast?
First thing we knew about it was just the audition came through like normal, and it was Sam Mendes doing a First World War film. So as soon as you know Sam's involved, it was that was the hook for me. And then the first audition, the scenes that we read were just so beautiful. That we did the first audition, then the second, and that's when I met Sam on the second audition, and he explained this idea of how he wanted to shoot the film in one continuous take, and explained the rest of the story. And from then I was just thrilled by the idea. So yeah, and it kind of went from there.
Oh, what about you?
Exactly the same. We both had 3 auditions. The first time we ever met was on the 3rd audition. Yeah, and I loved Blake. I just loved my character, and I've never actually enjoyed as much as playing Blake as any other character. So I loved every minute of it.
Well, you know what I love about the film? I mean, it's got everything that you want in a war movie, right? But it's also grounded in emotion.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's also funny, right? There are some funny moments in it, right?
Yeah, there's some. I mean, the thing what I love about this film is it's not really, a war film. You don't have to know anything about the First World War. It's not a educational film on the war or a certain battle. It just follows 2 human beings, and they react in a very human way, and it's told on a very human level. And the one continuous take method really adds a whole nother layer of storytelling, and it really immerses you in the experience of watching the film.
But thank you for mentioning, you guys, both, the one-shot take. The camera plays a major part in the film, right? How did you guys work around that? I mean, that must be the cues and everything on top of like learning your lines, and right? I mean,
yeah, it was a pretty gradual process, to be honest. Like, because as you say, because it's all in one shot, Sam didn't have a conventional edit in the way he does, so we had to work out the rhythm and the pace beforehand, which meant that everyone started 6 months before. We rehearsed it together and we choreographed the whole thing together. And so, it wasn't too hard to remember because we'd been kind of working at it in increments for months before we even began.
How did you guys prepare physically?
Yeah, well, we did a lot of training, really. It wasn't anything to, make a different physique of ourselves. We weren't gaining muscle or anything like that. It was purely for stamina.
Right.
And we also worked with a military advisor called Paul Biddis. We'd see him every day, wouldn't we? We'd train every day with him and with the rifles and firing them and reloading. Wearing the kits early on in the rehearsal process just to get used to the weight of everything. But really it was to make everything look second nature rather than sort of worrying about what we're doing with equipment rather than focusing on the scene.
Right. At its heart is it's about sacrifice, isn't it? It's about one of the greatest loves of all, right? Sacrifice.
Yeah, I think so. And Sam's spoken of this, that I think this sacrifice is probably something that we're out of touch with, really, because of in a way it's a double-edged sword, because it's a blessing, because currently we're surrounded by choice. We were born in our country, born in peacetime, so it's it's a good thing that we're not stretched in the way that war stretches you, but by the same token, it's good not to completely let go of the understanding of what sacrifice means and how much what it is to truly give yourself or something to another.
Yeah, I heard that you also did your own stunts.
Yeah. But it's kind of because the camera never cuts. There wasn't too much choice in the matter. But it's a physical journey. There's actually kind of very little said in the entire film, and so that was just part of our job, and it was a pleasure to do it.
You're right. It's a physical journey, but yet it's also an emotional journey.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do you think audience will respond? How do you think audience will respond to the film?
I mean, I hope they respond well. I mean, they have been so far. The stuff that people have been saying and the reviews have been pretty good. But I just think it's very relatable watching it, and I think you're not just following 2 soldiers. You're following 2 human beings, and as I said before, it's told in a very human way. And it's only really a simple story of just 2 men trying to deliver a message, but there's a lot more layers to the film rather than just watching a war film. So yeah, I think people will find it more relatable than I think they will.
You're very right. It is so simple yet so complex, just like the film. Right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank
you
you
guys
very
are
much.
amazing.
Nice to meet you, Manny.
Good luck on everything.
Cheers.
Bye.